Hello everyone, welcome to my zoomed in face. Today we are going to do a full face of my Holy Grail products. Now this is not an original or new concept or idea, and this is definitely not something that I made up. I did some searching and I couldn't find like any one specific person who necessarily started this. However, if you know, please let me know and I will definitely credit them in the description box. So now certain products that I go through like more quickly than powder products, like eyebrow products, concealer, eyeliner, things like that, I don't necessarily have them with me to use. So I'm going to talk about them. I'll put like a little picture up on the screen. So maybe it's technically not fully a full face of my Holy Grails, but if I don't have it, I will use something that's close, but just like talk about what it really is. So first for primer, here's the thing. I think if you watch any of my videos, you know what these products are going to be, but for primer, it's got to be the Make It Forever mattifying primer. This is the best primer if you have oily skin. So good. It lasts me a super long time because you don't need a lot, just a very tiny amount. I always just pat this into my T-zone. It mattifies your face. It's the #1 primer that actually makes a difference in terms of like controlling oil for the whole day. Like it makes a huge difference, and I notice when I don't use this, I honestly, if they ever discontinue this, I'm gonna be so sad. For foundation, #1 favorite foundation, NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. 10 out of 10. It's beautiful. I've talked about this so many times. It's lightweight. It has really good coverage. It lasts all day, but it's not like super matte. It does have a little bit of life. Give a little bit of life to your skin. That's done. I just used it all the way up. Close second is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Foundation. This is a little bit too light for me right now. This is in the shade 100, but we're just gonna work with it. It kind of matches my neck, but I think it's a little light for my face. Anyway, I know this foundation is a little bit contentious because not a lot of people liked it when it first came out, but I really do. You definitely have to like prep your, oh shoot, I just realized. Normally, I do half my face and then blend it out because this foundation does like dry down relatively quickly. So that's super great. The important thing with this foundation is that you have to like prep your skin pretty well. Like it has to be moisturized for sure, because it can be a little bit difficult to blend, but once you get it blended out and on your skin, and once it's sat for a little bit, it looks really beautiful, and it also wears really well as well. And it's one of the only foundations that I've tried that has like almost like an airbrushing effect to your skin. It like makes your pores disappear. It makes your skin look super smooth. It's really nice. So if you can get past the like little bit of tricky application process, I think it's a really beautiful, really unique foundation formula that I really like. For brows, it's gotta be the NYX Microbrow Pencil. Unfortunately, I am out of this, so I'm gonna use the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim pencil that I have right now. But while I do like this one, the NYX one is definitely my #1 fave. I prefer the color of the Maybelline one for sure, but the NYX one I definitely prefer the formula overall. The Maybelline one is just a little bit too creamy and like too pigmented almost for it to be my truly perfect brow pencil. The NYX one has like the perfect amount of waxiness. It's not super pigmented, but not so waxy that it's like difficult to draw on your skin. Lasts all day. It's just a little bit too ashy. I personally use the shade Ash Brown. but so it's a little bit too cool toned for me. The Maybelline one I think is like best color match, but I think if you had the formula of the NYX pencil with the color of this Maybelline pencil, it would be perfection. For brow gel, it's gotta be the Annabelle Brow Show Brow Gel. I use the shade Light Medium. This is basically empty, but I'm gonna use the last little dregs of it for this video. I have been using the Annabelle Fiber Gel Brow Gel, and while I do like this, or I do like that, I don't think it's as good as this. This just makes your brows look fuller, but in the most natural way. It like almost separates each individual brow hair and makes it look defined and full, but not in a way that looks super fake. It doesn't make your brows look super thick or heavy, and it lasts a really long time. This is such a beautiful brow gel. Now we're gonna jump to eyeshadow. So eyeshadow primer, NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. There is nothing as good as this. I discovered this so long ago. Actually, Ingrid Nilsson was talking about this like probably, I swear, in like 2010. Like, it was a long ass time ago. She's not even making videos anymore, but there is nothing like this eyeshadow primer. I used to struggle so much with creasing, my eyeshadow creasing and fading, because I have oily skin, I have really oily eyelids, and nothing has made my, like, changed the wear of my eyeshadow so much. This, like, I don't have a single problem with eyeshadow fading, creasing, anything. I don't even think about that when I test new like eyeshadow formulas. I don't have that issue. If you have any type of issues with your eyeshadow, like the wear of your eyeshadow, this is so good. It's fucking so expensive. It's like $40, but it does last me a pretty good time. I use this every single time I ever do eyeshadow, and it lasts me about a year. So I think that's pretty good. But there's nothing like this. I don't even know how many tubes of this I've gone through. And this is another product that, like, I will never try another eyeshadow primer unless they discontinue this. And if they discontinue this, I don't know what I would do. This is like a definition of a holy grail product. I love it. Eyeshadow palettes. This was probably the most difficult category for me, so I picked 3. Because I love eyeshadow. I have a lot and I can't choose just one, and I ask you not to make me. The first one, I think most people could guess. Again, if you watch my channel, Melt Gemini. There's nothing like this. I love Melt eyeshadow formula. I love the tones in here. I just love this so much, and if all of my eyeshadow like palettes disappeared, I would miss having this the most, or one of the most. Another one is the Warrior 2 by Juvia's Place. This is just a palette that I reach for almost every day, almost every time I do my eyeshadow. Just has all like staple mattes for me. You have a white, you have a black, you have brown transition shades. The shade Yodit right here I use almost every day for freckles. It's just so good, and I don't know. If this disappeared, I would have to honestly rebuy it because I just rely on it so much. And then another one, again, I think if you watch any of my videos, you could guess this. It's the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette. I just think this is such a great palette. I reach for this, again, all the time. I haven't used it in a while, so I think I'm going to focus on this one today. It's such gorgeous, like, neutral tones, but also deep, rich jewel tones, and it's just perfect. I'm going to pop back and forth, but I'm going to mostly focus on the Nubian too. So I'm going to start actually from the Gemini palette by Melt, and I'm going to take the shade Gemini, or no. I'm going to take the shade Lorelei, which is the mustard shade, and I'm just going to run this in my crease as a transition. Again, because I do have so many products to talk about, I'm going to like probably just speed through this eyeshadow process. I'm not gonna do like any crazy look, but I just don't want this video to be like super long. But you guys know Melt shadows and Juvia's Place shadows are like two of my top favorite eyeshadow formulas. I love them so much. That and Kaleidos are probably like my 3 top favorite eyeshadow formulas. I would say these just beat Kaleidos out in terms of like when I actually think about how much I use palettes, how much I reach for palettes, what would I realistically actually notice most if they disappeared kind of thing. These are like the 3 truly like standout palettes. Maybe not the most like interesting, bright and colorful palettes, but I can't lie, my staples are my staples. Now I'm going to jump into the Nubian 2 palette. I'm going to take the shade Madagascar, which is this like camel toned brown. I'm just going to put this in my crease in my outer corner. Now I'm going to take the shade Kenya, which is this deep, pretty neutral toned brown, and I'm going to put that in my outer corner and my crease as well. And this is one of my go-to deep browns when I need like a deep brown in the crease if a palette doesn't have it or something. This is the perfect, to me, in my opinion, from my makeup preferences, perfect depth, perfect like totally neutral tone. It's just so good. Okay, so quickly I'm going to cut my crease. I'm going to do a half cut crease and then we'll be right back. Okay, so my crease is done. This is like the most beautiful mustard toned crease in the world. Now I'm going to take the shade Egypt from the Nubian 2 palette. If you can see that, it's such a beautiful green with a gold like undertone slash shift. It's so beautiful. And I'm gonna spray that like always and just put this all over my lid. Don't tell me that that's not the most beautiful like emerald green you've ever seen in your life. Now for my brow bone, I'm going to take the shade Zuri. And this is very intense, so I'm going to take the tiniest little amount. This shade is also a beautiful face highlighter. That is my top eyeshadow done. So now moving on to concealer. I have 2 like truly holy grail concealers. One I have with me, one I don't. The first one is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I cannot live without this. It's so beautiful. It's pigmented but really creamy, so it's not like dry or anything. You can use this on top of like pimples or blemishes and it doesn't make them look like really dry and gunky. But you can also use this all over your face. It's an all over concealer and it's so creamy and smooth and emollient, but it still lasts really well. It doesn't break up or get weird. It's so nice. The other one, I guess I'll put a little picture on the screen. It's the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. To me, that's like everything I could ever want a concealer to be. It's so lightweight but pigmented, but it doesn't make your face look really cakey or heavy. It blends out amazingly well. It lasts so long throughout the day, but it doesn't break up. It's so good. I don't have that one with me. I'm just going to use the Maybelline Fit Me that I've been using a lot recently. This is definitely not a holy grail, but it's what I have been using a lot. And then I'm going to use the NARS on like blemishes and stuff around my face. I would use the NARS all over, but it's almost done. Like it's on the last legs of its life. And now I'm going to go in with my finger and just conceal kind of the areas that are really like red and pigmented, like some areas that I'm breaking out and stuff with the NARS concealer. And you can see it just melts into the skin so beautifully. It covers anything you need to cover. Oh, it's so good. And this is also the concealer that I use to cut my crease. It's like my favorite product to cut my crease because it's really creamy and it blends really well, but it doesn't crease or anything. It's just really, really nice. Powder, I'm an excessive powderer. I have a incredibly extra and excessive powder routine. My favorite loose powder is the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. I use the shade 05 Fair. This is incredibly affordable and it's also just so good. It also does something where it like erases your pores. It smooths your skin. It looks so like airbrushed and flawless, but it doesn't make your skin look super dry or crepey. It doesn't stick down like weirdly on your face anywhere. I let it sit for like a couple seconds. Maybe I'll take a drink and then I wipe it off pretty immediately. Then I like to set my face all over with a pressed powder. The one that I've been using for the longest and that truly is my favorite is the Rimmel Stay Matte Pressed Powder. I'm not totally sure how I feel about Rimmel as a brand at the moment. So I'm on the hunt for a new pressed powder that's really good. But what I like about this is that it sets your makeup. Obviously it's a pressed powder, that's what it does, but it looks really smooth. It doesn't look heavy. It's very lightweight, and it really makes my makeup last really long throughout the day. It's not super expensive. I fucking hate the packaging, but it's just what I've always used and I've always gone back to, and it truly is like a holy grail powder to me. Then I also use usually a like HD powder. I don't have necessarily one that is my most favorite. To me, they're kind of all the same. This is kind of like a controversial step because a lot of people don't like HD powders for good reason because they cause really bad flashback in photography. But I'm so pale that I don't really have issues with flashback because my skin is already so light. It's already flashing back so much. I just feel like it makes my makeup really last that extra little bit of time and it really smooths my skin out in my T-zone. I'm just going to include it as a step in this video, but it's not like I don't have one in particular powder or brand that I really like swear by. I find them to be very similar. And then I always like to go over my entire face with a powder that has a slight sheen to it. So kind of like Hourglass powders. I have an Hourglass powder, but I don't think that it's necessarily worth the money. But this Wet n Wild's powder is very similar to those and it's much less expensive. The issue is that with this is that it comes in one single shade, so it's incredibly limiting in terms of who can use it, which is the number one downside to this for sure. Hourglass isn't much better with their shade range, I'm not gonna lie, so that's why I chose this powder because it's so much more affordable and it does basically the same thing. It just gives my skin a little bit of a extra life to it while still like setting my makeup down. Again, I feel like my powder routine is a little bit controversial or it could be, but it's what I do and it's what I really like. So I'm gonna quickly just do my lower lash line. I'm basically just gonna do the same thing that I did in my upper crease on my lower lash line, and then we'll be right back. I feel like at this point in my videos I always look super dead, but we're almost getting to bronzer, so I'll look alive relatively soon. I'm gonna take the shade Zuri that I used in my brow bone and put that in my inner corner. Now moving on to the face. For contour, my favorite product, Kevyn Sculpting Powder in medium. The thing is, I know that this is not a super inclusive shade range. If I'm using anything that's labeled medium, it's not. It's not medium. This product is super cool toned, very ashy, very gray toned. So If you have any warmth to your skin, this is not going to be like the best contour product for you. For me, it's perfect. Honestly, I need something super ashy and gray toned just because I am so pale, and that like literally is the shadow of my skin. And this powder is really perfectly pigmented where it's not super pigmented. You can build it up, but it just gives like a very light amount of shadow. Not everyone likes to contour anymore, and I respect that, but I just feel like I like to have a little bit of like some type of structure to my face. Also exorbitantly priced, but this also has lasted me for like years and years and years, and again, I use it every day. My favorite bronzer by a huge margin is the Fenty Beauty Stalk'r bronzer in the shade Inda Sun. This is such a beautiful formula. It's so blendable, so like you just put it on, you don't have to think about it. Perfect amount of pigmentation where it's not so pigmented that it's difficult to use, like where it's going to be difficult to blend out, but it's really easy to build as well. Perfect tone. If you have very like fair skin like me, it's not super orange, but it still warms your face up. It's absolutely perfect. And this is another product where I can't see myself not having this in my collection, and it's also something that I can definitely see myself going through for sure. And I think like anyone who's tried this bronzer likes it. Like I really haven't heard that many negative reviews on it. Okay, and now is the point where I usually spray my face before I do highlighter. My true #1 setting spray is the Pixi Makeup Fixing Mist. I love this mist. It really makes your makeup last all day, but it takes the powderiness away from your face. It's just perfect to me. I love it, absolutely love it so much. Obviously this is empty. So right now what I'm using, and this is quickly becoming like one of my new favorites, so this is kind of like a second runner-up, it's the Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray. I really like this. It definitely mattifies your face, but it doesn't like make it feel dry or anything, and it really does like make your makeup last a long time. Whereas the Pixi one maybe isn't so mattifying, but it does make your makeup last super long, so it just really kind of depends on your preference. I like both, maybe the Pixi one just a hair more. Highlighter, if you watch my ranking my highlighter video, you can guess it. It's the Benefit Cookie Highlighter. There's just something about this formula that's perfect in every way to me. It's super bright, really lightweight, so it blends into your skin so seamlessly. Again, not sure how I feel about Benefit as a brand, but it's funny because Benefit Too Faced and another product that I'm going to talk about coming up, Tarte, I don't really like feel particularly strongly about their brands. I'm not like, I don't buy from them very often, but there are certain products from them that are just like staples in my like makeup favorites that I just think they really knock it out of the park, but it's like one range in their entire line. And then everything else I'm like, I basically can just leave it. Blush. Again, you might be able to predict this. Likely Makeup Clown Blush Palette. 10 out of 10. Perfection. Beautiful. Everything I could ever want in a blush. I'm going to take this orange shade Contortion and then put a little bit of the yellow shade Carnival on top. So beautiful. Pigmented, but still blendable. The best colors. I just think it's so good. I think Jordy knocked it out of the park. I really want the Fairy Blush palette as well, but this is a product that it was like, as soon as I saw her advertise for it and like show that she was coming out with this product, I was like, everything I've ever wanted. Truly, I need it. And I bought it, I think, like right after it launched. If you are a blush lover, you need this. Rarely do I think anyone ever needs anything. If you love blush, you need this. I'm also going to quickly throw some freckles on. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to take the shade Yodit from the Warrior 2 palette from Juvia's Place. Okay, so I'm going to pop off camera and do liner and lashes, and then I will talk about, and lips, and then I will talk about the products that I'm using. My camera also might die, so I might have to do that and then come film the outro later and like talk about the last products, but we'll just see where we end up. So my camera died, so this is me coming to you from later in the day, which is honestly so annoying, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, so I finished my face and I'm just going to go through the rest of the categories of products that unfortunately some I have, some I do not have. So first, eyeliner. I used the eyeliner that should not be named that I absolutely hate, but I'm trying to use that. But my favorite gel liner slash just eyeliner ever is the Tarte like Amazonian clay, I think it's called the Clay Pot gel liner. So good. Again, Tarte is not a brand that I buy from really often at all, or that I really think about that much, but this one gel eyeliner is so good. It's super pigmented, super black, it's matte, it's really creamy, so it's really easy to manipulate, but it doesn't smudge, it lasts all day, it doesn't like flake off, transfer, it's perfect, and it's also really easy to remove. It honestly checks every single box that I ever have for eyeliner. I just don't have it with me right now. In terms of like pencil eyeliners, ColourPop, I really love ColourPop's eyeliners. I know not everyone likes them. Some people really hate them. Not every single shade has worked for me. I have a pink one. I think it's called Boots, and it doesn't really like, it's not very creamy, it's not super pigmented, I don't love it, but a lot of, pretty much every other one that I have, I really love. Today I used the shade Overboard, which is a bronze. Again, I'm kind of on a break from ColourPop, but if I'm being honest, up until this point, my favorite like holy grail eyeliners have been ColourPop. In terms of mascara, again, I don't have it with me. Today I just used the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship, but Maybelline Lash Sensational, I swear there's nothing better. High-end drugstore, it's the best mascara. It makes your lashes look super full, really long, it doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, it's beautiful, it's perfect, it's from the drugstore, it's relatively affordable. I absolutely love it. It's so good. There's nothing, truly nothing in comparison. It's my all-time holy grail favorite mascara. Lip products is difficult because there's so many lip formulas that I love, and it's very difficult to really narrow down my favorite lip products, but I think I've done it. Lip liners. Again, I'm on a break from ColourPop, but I can't deny the Lippy Pencil in BFF. I just think this is so perfect. I do like the creaminess of this. If it was any creamier, I wouldn't like it. I will say I don't love the packaging. I actually prefer wooden lip liners. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion, but I just find them easier to sharpen, and I feel like they give a cleaner line to the lips, but I do really love this. It's really comfortable. For me, it's like the perfect depth where it's not too deep, but it still gives my lips some definition. I just think it's a really good formula. Again, if I'm being honest, truly this up until this point has been my like favorite lip liner, truly holy grail lip liner. So we'll kind of, I'm still kind of waiting to see how things play out with ColourPop. In terms of like lipstick, I gotta give it to Nude Sticks. The Nude Sticks Lip and Cheek Pencil in Whisper. It's very similar in tone to the ColourPop BFF. It's almost basically the same color. That is like my favorite lipstick combo. This is just, I guess I can actually just swatch this. It's I mean, you're not really gonna be able to see that. It's like the perfect like nude, pinky brown nude for my skin tone. I love it. Again, it's like perfect depth. It's like kind of like a medium nude for me. Not too brown, not too pink. I can wear it in like professional settings, but also I can wear it like out. It's really just perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it. In terms of liquid lipsticks, again, if I'm really being honest, I have to give it to the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. I used this in a video, I think in my last video, and I remembered truly how much I love this formula, especially like pre-COVID days. This has never failed me. If I need my lips to last all day, there's nothing like, I truly don't think there's anything like this on the market. If you don't like a tacky lip formula, you're not gonna like this. But because of that, I don't find it too drying, but it's definitely sticky and it does stay that way all day. But I don't find it personally to be that uncomfortable. I specifically love the shade Seductress 65. It's what I'm wearing today. It's, again, like a very like pinky toned brown. It won't move. It'll stay on your lips all day long. I just really, really love this. Again, it's going to be a love or hate thing, but this is one that I always go back to, and I forgot how much I love it, and truly, like, this is a holy grail lip product for sure. In terms of gloss, I don't need to really go that much in depth, but Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, specifically the shade Fussy, it's like my perfect lip gloss. It's a light pink. I can wear it with lip liner, lipstick. I can wear it without. It's super juicy, super glossy, doesn't fade weird. It's just perfect. It's perfect. Honestly, it's perfect. All right, and that basically concludes this video. I'm sorry that some of the products I didn't have, but also it's like way too expensive to go and re-buy them just to use them. Again, not that original of an idea, but I thought it could be good. It could be fun. Again, if you know someone who is like the person to start this, please let me know. I would have no problem crediting them. I just was unsure. I personally couldn't find anyone who like necessarily started this, but I'm not trying to steal anyone's video idea. Let me be very clear. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything that you want to see from me. I'd be more than happy to do it. Sorry that I've been so inconsistent in posting, but at least you're getting minimum one video a week. Okay? Okay. Yeah. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.
Your mother has earned the right to be wearing